What right now are the top 5 programs in college football? We're just going to do top 5. We're just going to do top 5. So I'm going to go Matt. No. We're going to do 3, 2, 1 for who is the top program in college football. We're going to start there. And we know how this. Matt's on a delay, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal. 3, 2, 1. Georgia.
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 Okay. Well, let's try it. Let's try it again. And you go at 2, Matt, instead of us going at 3.
That was great.
No, we'll do a 3, 2, 1 for number 2, and then we're going to take it from there. 3, 2, 1.
Alabama.
Exactly. All right,
Beat
so
us that time. You beat us that time.
we've got our top 2. What is the likelihood that the top 2 changes after the 23 season? What does an Ohio State national championship mean to the top 2, Ryan? What does a Michigan national championship mean? Who is the 5th? But let's just start. Can the top 2 change in a year?
Yeah, I don't think Michigan winning a national championship changes the top 2. I think Ohio State shakes the conversation a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
but why are we giving Ohio State such credit? They're getting their ass whipped by Michigan.
Well,
2 years in a row.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of. I mean, them beating up on each other doesn't help them for this conversation. But Ohio State's accomplished more in recent years. It's just what it is.
Okay.
Now, I do think that they get a little overrated when it comes to. It's been Georgia and Alabama and Clemson really, and Clemson's now teetered off.
Right.
The last, it was Alabama and Clemson were clearly the 2 best programs there for a few years. They just were. And then Georgia took Clemson's spot there. And now Georgia's, if you say that Georgia's not the best program right now, you're just delusional. It's just they are. And I think Ohio State gets a little overrated in that conversation. I think the drop off is a little bit bigger than people talk about.
Matt?
I think Michigan's number 3, and then Ohio State,
Ooh,
and then
I think he's right, man. I think he's right.
Are we talking about like in the present moment?
Yeah. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I mean they've beaten Ohio State the last 2 years. They've been to the college football playoff the last 2 years. It seems like they're back to their winning ways. Just can't get over that last hump, and neither can Ohio State. So I'm going to take the team that's won that game the past 2 years. Ohio State 4 for me. And then, Dean, like you said, I think number 5 is very up in the air. I'm sitting here trying to think of who number 5 is. I don't want to say Clemson because I don't think they deserved it after the last couple of years. I think it's early to say number 5. It's not Texas A&M. It's certainly not Oklahoma. It's not Florida State. Then you're starting to pick. I don't think it's Penn State. Maybe it's LSU if they get their act together. They certainly look like it 2 years ago, but yeah, I don't know who that 5th program is right now. It'd be tough to say the 2nd for me.
Sorry for the fast forward with Matt there sometimes, but where would you go with it, Ryan? I mean, let's start it here. Hold on, let's just start it here, and I think the answer is they've just really just failed the last 2 years. But why is it not Clemson at 5?
It just feels like the decline's not going to stop.
Okay.
For me, I don't see how it's just better this year. I think they'll win 10, 11 games. But
I'm not as certain about that.
I think 10 is my prediction right now. They've got, their key games this year at home, and that's definitely going to matter. But I just feel like we've been watching a slow decline the last couple of years that I don't see just getting picked back up. And part of that is, or probably most of that is Dabo's fault. Their talent is just not the same that it was for that 4 or 5 year stretch. Not even close.
No.
Especially when you had 2 generational quarterbacks back to back. So for me, the 5 is, it's recent answer, but it's USC. I think predicting. I mean, I think it's USC. I think that he's a very good fit for that program. I think it's going to get better and better. I think they're going to compete for national championships.
Okay, I was going to say USC, Matt, but I have to tell you, I think Utah has just been better than USC, generally speaking, lately.
USC just lost to Tulane, so I'm not giving them any type of credit whatsoever.
Okay, what about Tennessee?
Defense.
What about
Tennessee?
What about Tennessee?
I think they could fight for that fifth spot with another really good season, but you can't lose to South Carolina in embarrassing fashion in the biggest game of the season either. They still have to get over that hump, but maybe number 5 is where they could be right now.
What about hold on, Ryan? What about straight to you, Ryan? What about Penn State?
They're not accomplishing anything significant. They can't score. I mean, when's the last time a Penn State team just put up points on the board?
They remind me of a really good Mark Richt Georgia team where they just winning big games, the teams they need to beat if they want to accomplish all their goals. But they're really good against, average to below average teams. They look great.
I don't even know if they're really good sometimes, to be honest with you. All right, what about Washington? I mean, UW, no one talks about the Pac-12. Yeah, everybody's disgusted here. I mean, we don't have to have a number 5, but it makes sense. Like projecting forward in 2 years, what is the top 5 going to be? We're going to start with Matt. And Matt, because of your connection, how about let's not go too long. So who's your top 5 in 2 years? How does this change?
I think Texas could jump into the mix. I think one day Texas could be back. Maybe it's with Arch Manning. I think they're, a program that looks like they're getting a little better and better. And I think Florida State, too, is finally a team that is figuring out, again, how to win. I like their quarterback. They got a lot of transfers who came in. I think Clemson better watch out because I think Florida State is going to have a big year. And if they do, they're going to, sneak back into that conversation of top 10, maybe top 5 program. They got to keep that momentum going that they have right now.
Okay, so he gave me 2. Are there any? I mean, what do you think of that, Ryan?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing I said earlier. I think USC is going to be a top 5 program. I think they'll be better than Texas in a couple of years. I do.
All right. So I'll let the haters down below unite real quick on this question, and maybe the 2 haters on the screen. What % chance is it in 2 years that Colorado could be in the top 5?
I'm not buying what Deion's selling, man.
For it.
I'm not buying it.
Well,
I'm pulling for it. I want it to happen, but it would be fun. And Travis Hunter is one of the best high school football players that I've ever seen in my life. And I feel like I'm going to say that 10, 20 years from now. Travis Hunter is ridiculously good. It'd be nice to see him playing a big, big game and make a big, big play. So I'm pulling for Deion to do well. I've always kind of liked Colorado in the program, going back and watching them against Nebraska in the 90s. I just always kind of liked Colorado. So it'd be fun.
But y'all, no one. So I would say in the future, I would say first of all, LSU I think will be in this top 5. I think they're too
I don't know
good.
why I didn't say that. They're
well, just because you forget. I mean, it's just. I think LSU. First of all, I think Florida State has a possibility. I think LSU is the most likely because I think Brian Kelly knows exactly what he's doing. I think SC is a great example of who could be there as well. But I am skeptical of South Carolina. I know we're not talking about top 5 anymore. I think the future at South Carolina, I'm not as high on it as some folks perhaps are. I think Notre Dame, we're going to see. This is an important year. Oregon, Oregon is a place where you can really win. I think that the challenge for SC moving forward, y'all, is that they're going into the Big Ten, and that's going to be more challenging than the Pac-12. And even though they have progressed, they still haven't mastered the Pac-12. And, out west, I like Utah as the best overall program. I think UW is right there with them. But I think LSU is the team that Georgia and Alabama need to worry about the most because they go ahead.
Quick question. Who gets back to their winning ways first, Texas or Oklahoma joining the SEC? Does Oklahoma become, a national power again anytime soon, or do they kind of stay where they are right now and maybe hover a little bit every now and then? I think it's gonna be tough.
I'm not a Venables believer. I'm not.
Yeah, that's my problem.
I'm not a Venables believer.
That's my problem.
Think. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, I just don't. I reserve the right to be wrong, but I wasn't coming into this season, and he I don't see it. And not right now. I think the other challenge too, Matt, to your point, whenever you're changing leagues, teams, they just have a really hard time adjusting. Miami, Nebraska, Virginia Tech even. new teams and new leagues. Colorado. I mean, there's no shortage of that being problematic. I think OU has done a very good job for a long time. They had two very good head coaches. I don't know that they have that right now. I don't know. And for Oklahoma, they really have to be able to recruit in Texas, and now that's been taken away because not only is Texas A&M in the SEC, but so are the Horns. So, getting into this pool with this bunch of sharks. I mean, you're dealing with Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, and not necessarily in this order. You're dealing with Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, Brian Kelly. I mean, they will cut your face off, and they don't care. So I just don't know if I don't know if Oklahoma's ready for what they're going to get into. Texas, I'm not certain they are either, but we'll see. We'll see. Any final words, Matt? No.
Go Owls, baby.
Oh my God, Ryan.
We'll see.
We'll see exactly.
We'll see.